Hello, your local Rad Boy, Joey, aka Radkanos, as always, coming right at you, and here are my thoughts on Arcade Tycoon. Arcade Tycoon, the game developed by Vincent and Squid Punch Studios. It recently came into full release on the 14th of October, 2021. This game was originally released back in September 2019 as an early access game. Before we continue, a little disclaimer, I've played about 4 hours of the game and we went in as blind as possible. I kind of like diving into games as fresh as possible to get a real first impression without, knowing too much about the game. Upon starting the game, you're greeted by what honestly is a pretty good song. The menu song is honestly a bop, I believe as you guys call it. Here, you'll find two main options of the game, the campaign mode and the sandbox mode. Naturally, we went for the campaign mode. For your first few lessons, you were taught how to do some of the basic actions. Buying a token machine, your very first arcade cabinet, which, by the way, in the tutorial, you can kind of cheat with. You manage your power system, and of course, you hire staff. And now, you finally open up your arcade for business and receive your first customer. Here's where the game teaches you how to fulfill basic needs such as food, drinks, toilet, and of course, happiness. That aside, you can also see how much they spend in your arcade and also see how much money they have. Apparently, you can read minds. What kind of arcade do we have running? What technology do we possess to know this information? Up next, you're shown how to see how appealing your arcade is, but more importantly, the upgrade system, which I'll say in the beginning I was excited for, but later, well, we get to that later. For the first level of the campaign, you start out in your own home where you run your new arcade from your garage. Naturally, you give it a name. As I was playing this with my girlfriend, we gave ours a fitting name: the Gay Agenda. The next thing we are introduced to are the objectives, and this is where you start spending money. In the game, of course, but oh boy, is this expensive. And could really use a hold shift to fill the entire floor wall for example like you have in a game such as The Sims. Really, Lucian? Is this place spotless? We don't even have a cleaner! Okay, so that's maybe my own mistake. Actually, the cleaner is me, because one of the tutorial bits is explained how to pick up litter, for if you don't quite have a cleaner hired yet. Which actually, we'll get to now. I was kind of expecting a human janitor, not a Roomba. And not just any Roomba, but a giant Roomba with eyes. Which is kind of cute, to be honest. However, more about hiring staff. From your choice of staff, you'll notice that each of the staff comes with their own stats and perks. One will be faster at cleaning. One will be just faster. The other one just needs to eat less. The other one just needs to drink less. And more stuff like that you can imagine. It's up to you to decide what's most important to you. Of course, every staff will have their own name, age, and of course how much they'll cost and how much you have to pay them a month. Also, you can give them these little bonuses for extra payment and stuff. One little side note, apparently your staff can over time develop flaws. So suddenly they will need to eat more or drink more. Basically all the perks, but then reversed. Honestly, I have no idea what causes this. It doesn't seem to get explained, besides they're having a rough time lately. The conclusion to us was, maybe it's because they're unhappy? At this point, as for the objectives, while you can leave the place once you finish the bronze reward, we quite decided to stay here to complete all the rewards, because naturally, why wouldn't you complete all of them? With the objectives done, we have our sights set on a new place. Abobo Street, which feels like it's a reference to Abobo's Big Adventure. So we head over to a new place, and here's where it begins. The disappointment. We once again have to name our arcade where we're basically starting from scratch, which, understandable, the first level was just a tutorial. The stars we spend on our upgrades, gone. The thing is, losing your upgrades is only what's going to continue. Nothing you upgrade or unlock carries over to the next venue. Basically, you're just going to keep on restarting over and over and over. The venue of Abobo Street is also very disappointing. It's the exact same size as the garage you once started in. The only difference? Your surroundings, and that you now have two windows. So we do the same thing as before, place a token machine, place an arcade, food, drinks, the toilet, staff room, and of course hiring staff. The thing now too is that customers also want an ATM machine for getting extra money to buy new tokens if they so desire. Which at this point in time we had no money for because all the basics alone were expensive enough to make us go in debt. While we kept getting mail from the accountant that we were low on cash, and we should consider selling something or take out a loan. Well, first off, we have the basics which we needed. We couldn't sell anything. On top of that, for the loan, you're unable to take out a loan till you finish the bronze objective. Thanks for the pointless suggestion, accountant. Conveniently, we received the lottery payout, which gave us 5,000 to do things. Which feels rather lame, as we received a random payout in both this level and the level that followed. Conveniently, both at times where we were in time of need. Honestly, kind of disliked it, since it felt like we were just being bailed out, and this was on normal difficulty mode. This is the thing I expect from easy mode. However, now having the money, we placed down a required ATM for them to get money, and some arcade. We delve ourselves a bit more in the drink and food system, where you can adjust the prices of the quality and the prices for how much they'll pay for their drinks, which kind of sets like how much profit you'll make from them. They really get unhappy about these prices. Fast. Following this up, we start to place out some decorations because every customer kept going, hey, you could use some decorations. Also, we finally go ahead and unlock a new arcade, where we chose for the red and black one named Death. One thing I will admit is how all the machines have fun little references to other things relating to pop culture, despite how little pop culture I actually know. I think this is a fun little detail. And then we dealt with our first ever breakdown, or explosion, even as were explained in the beginning. Naturally, this is where the handyman came in, which in more regards to staff-related matters, this is where we hired our first security because of this one very unhappy customer who started raging at one of our games and just destroyed it. On his way out, he also attacked our ATM machine. Rude. Also, remember what I said about your progress not carrying over? This is where we found out our upgrade from the tutorial doesn't carry over. Once again, from the tutorial, I can expect this. But at the next place, the same thing happens. The first thing we notice is the arcade cabinet we bought earlier. Death was once again locked behind stars. And once again, disappointment. So with that, our third venue, a new venue, yet another new start. Entirely new, as we mentioned before, nothing carries over at all. Not even the money you made. Like what? Do we throw away most of our money moving to a new venue? I thought this was supposed to be a campaign, not a scenario-based system. At this point, this is where we take a glance at the contracts in the game, and oh boy, do these suck. There are general contracts like upkeep happiness above a certain percent for an X amount of time, hiring an amount of people, or even the same job. But yes, let me hire 6 technicians for a puny tiny arcade which barely runs as it is at the start. Also, what? Stay in debt for a month? That doesn't seem like a thing to encourage. Or of course other contracts such as spending $25,000 in the span of 40 seconds, I think, to gain $4,000. Yes, that seems worth it. So let me do the math. 25,000 minus 4,000, remember the 1 and... Oh, cool. We are still at the $21,000 loss. Not worth it. These contracts we saw based on this alone, we had but one word to describe most of them. Stupid. When I think of contracts in the game, I think, for example, 2 Point Hospital, Game Dev Tycoon, Game Dev Masters. Small stuff you can do to gain a little bit of extra money while you're getting started to get on your feet. Not to spend money to lose money. Also, more in contracts. There's also this very broken glitch at the time of recording this after the full release came out, which should be reported at the time this is uploaded. Turns out completing a contract and then mashing a spacebar like your life depends on it causes the contract to keep paying you out the same reward over and over. Kind of huge oversight, because surely I'm not the only one who found this, and it's really easy to replicate this since I did it again later to try, or I could do this again. And yes, I could. On top of that, there are certain attractions which are locked behind contract coins. Contract coins is something you get by finishing 5 contracts to receive a single coin. But because of how we saw the upgrade system work, we didn't even really want to try this because the objective sucked. And also to risk unlocking them just to have them be locked again once we move to a new venue. A little while further into, we were introduced to one of the random events that can happen in the game. Alien invasions. They apparently will come to buck some of our machines. Apparently this means they will leave babies in our machines to get born inside of them. Gross. In all seriousness, they'll just mess with your machines to make them break down faster. Get ready, handy guy. This is your time to shine. Another random event that can happen is apparently a ninja thief, a seemingly customer at the first just to pop out of nowhere and start stealing money from your machines. Hope you get your security ready to take care of them. After the earlier mentioned glitch, we called it there. After playing 3 of the levels, I wasn't even remotely excited to give a go to the sandbox. The campaign mode didn't feel like a campaign. It felt like we did the same thing 3 times in a row. There is a severe lack of variety and decorations when it comes to the walls and flooring. Most of it not even worth it, because the decorating from one or two choices just excels the others for not that much more of the price. And it's a big difference. So at this point in time, what is my decision? Or opinion, rather? Besides the earlier mentioned bug, and a bug regarding blocked toilets, which is like when there's too much poop in there, which can actually be fixed by just picking up the toilet and rotating them, and just placing them back down, instead of just like letting a janitor do the thing, which is weird. I'm glad to see the minimal amount of obvious bugs and glitches. As for the upgrade system, while I enjoy it, I absolutely hate how it works. Every time you go to a new venue, as I already said, basically all your hard work of research and unlocking is nullified because it locks back up at your new venue, and you just have to start from scratch. I feel any research you've committed to you should at least come with you to the next venue. Like, oh, you learned how to do this or how to do marketing. Take it with you. What do? Just wipe your memory and like, oh, I forgot how to do this now. As for the campaign, as I mentioned, it doesn't feel like a campaign at all. It feels more like a scenario-based system. I was expecting a campaign where you'll slowly build out your arcade, moving with your profits to a new location or even expand your current location. Maybe even bringing all of your current owned cabinets and such. Instead, I was forced to start over multiple times. And every time I felt I was doing the exact same thing over and over. While it pains me to say this, but I do want to be honest, as it currently stands, I don't think I could honestly recommend the game. It also seems a lot of people can't either, because when I went through the game page when I received the key, it was swimming in negative reviews. Granted, most of them were from the early access times, so I was holding out hope for, okay, maybe things are fixed by now. They were not. I had high hopes, because making your own arcade seemed like a really cool concept. I was just very disappointed by the repetitiveness of it all. And I'm not trying to be harsh, I'm just being honest. I just want to give you guys my honest opinion. I would like to thank Vincent King Studios on Keymailer providing me with the key to the game and allowing me to try out the game. I very much appreciate this opportunity. As always though, thank you guys for watching the video. If you liked it, give me a thumbs up. If you disliked it, give me a thumbs down. It's your opinion, and your opinion matters. As always, you can find me on Discord, on Instagram, and Twitter, and of course you can find me live streaming on Twitch. For Twitch, be sure to join the Discord, because that's where I announce when I will go live, because I usually go live when my energy allows me to. And yeah, if there's anything else in the future you'd like to check me out, let me know. One of the future games that's going to be coming up is Dear Frankenstein, and I believe YouTubers Live too. Hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if you don't want to miss any further videos. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye!